Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Probably gonna be a quick episode today, guys. Was not able to turn the air condition on before recording, so
no.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens.
His brain's gonna boil.
Yeah. This week we're talking about Lost, Season 5, Episode 8, Le Fleur. In which we find out what the island survivors have been up to for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where we could start off. So it turns out, okay, they were there for 3 years.
Yeah. All that math we did last episode means nothing.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Like, I don't know. I wonder if they made that decision just to make it easier to keep up. Like, I don't know. We'll just have them there the same amount of time this Oceanic 6 was off the island.
Maybe, yeah. That kind of feels like the decision that was made.
I don't know. I think it was a missed opportunity. They could have done something cool, like have them be there with DHARMA longer.
But I don't know, like, I mean, that, like, already, like, them being with DHARMA for 3 years, that's a lot. That's huge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was just, I don't know. That's just something from my perspective. Like, it doesn't really... It's not that it doesn't make sense, but like we don't know the parameters or the rules, so like why did it just happen to be 3 years for both of them?
Right,
you know?
right.
Unless it's the island like pulling them back, you know, this is what's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was something to just simplify, you know, everybody's time away.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I thought it was cool. This, like, man, there were moments. This one definitely had me be like, oh, what? But how did they get there? And okay, now we're figuring out how they get there. Wait, but what does that mean? Like, whoa, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, this was just a really fun episode where it's like we're not necessarily time hopping anymore, but we are going back and forth. It's almost like we're flashing forward and flashing back to, you know, to and from, you know, when these people get to DHARMA, and then once they're there, you know.
I think that
just
behind the scenes said something to the fact that like it was equal time spent in the episode. They spent like half the episode in the past and half in the quote unquote the present.
Ooh, I love that. That's fun.
Which is quite different from most episodes because most episodes of Lost focus on either or, you know, present day or the flashback or flash forward. So I'm like, okay, or it just drops it altogether like we've seen this season with Oceanic 6. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Oh, okay, so it's both. And I think it's clever the way they did it. For the most part, it was just... we see both sides of the story, but like they preface it at the beginning by seeing like what happens right after Locke stops everything. And then we jump ahead 3 years, start seeing where everyone's at. But then I feel like the bulk of the episode, or at least like the first half is what happens next, you know? And we start seeing like how they start integrating themselves into DHARMA and all that stuff. And then towards the second half, that's when we start seeing more of the modern day, what's going on. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really well done. It was cool. It was exciting. They almost had the exact opposite experience from the Oceanic 6.
Yeah.
Well, except for, you know, Charlotte dying.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting because we don't get to see everybody in like the now, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't see
present.
We didn't see Daniel.
We didn't see Daniel, so we don't know what he's up to. And we only really got to see like Miles for like a hot second. He's just helping out Sawyer.
Jin as well. We just saw him for like one scene.
Yeah.
But he's speaking better English now.
Yeah. 3 years around English speakers, I guess we'll do that to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that like the deal is that, because Sawyer's so good at, the security detail, like they essentially get to like be kind of like work for hire security.
Yeah, they essentially join up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, while they're and then in the meantime, like they're also searching for the rest of their party,
Mm-hmm.
you
So
know?
yeah, so it looks like Sawyer, Miles, and Jin are security. Juliet's mechanic. I'm like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. That was a nice
Um,
touch.
but then she comes in to save the day, and that lady has her baby.
Yeah.
So whatever happened, so people can't have babies on this island, is after this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I have thoughts on that baby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, who do you think it is?
Oh, Ben?
No, but we see Ben get there, remember? He was born off island.
But that doesn't mean, I mean, that's not,
We see him show up with his dad
yeah.
as like a teenager.
So that doesn't mean he could have been taken away from this place. Oh, well, the timeline wouldn't line up
Yeah,
because
and we see him
Dharma's not
we
around
see
for
him
that.
born like
Yeah.
on the side of the road. You remember
Oh
that?
my God, you're right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how Horace meets Ben's dad.
You're right. Okay. Oh,
Hmm.
dang it. Never mind.
But now that we're talking about it, that's really interesting timeline wise. When is that?
Yeah. I don't think it's that far off though, because Horace is still around, right? By the
Yeah.
time Ben gets there.
Yeah, he's the
Hmm.
one who brings them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't
Man, it's also been so long since we've like seen any of
I think
this
that
that
was
like
season 4 or season 3?
I
Season
think
2?
yeah no, you're right. I'm sorry. I held up two fingers. I meant to hold up three. Oh
Okay.
yeah. I think it was season
Season
three that
3,
we saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, because we were getting further into Ben's backstory, and I think that happened in three.
But we see Ben kill everyone in season 4 in the flashback,
Yeah.
which is nuts because so all these people are going to die eventually.
Hmm.
And then we're led to believe that the others take over,
Hmm.
posing like as Dharma. And then that's when Juliet is introduced, brought to
Hmm.
the island.
Hmm.
Oh, I liked Sawyer's story. They were just on a exploration vessel looking for the Black Rock. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, that is slick. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna sell this? I'm like, okay, it's a location. You know, it's here on the island,
Hmm.
Black Rock.
Hmm.
Man, he's good. That's why he's the con man, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like using pieces of everything that he's seen, everything he knows about, and just melding it into one. I'm like, that, yeah. Yeah. As soon as he said that, I was like, that's genius. The
yeah,
only thing I don't buy is his name.
Lafleur. Yeah, so he says it's Creole,
It's Creole, which
which I'm
is
like, okay, I guess, because
sure.
we know he's Southern, so I don't know why
Yeah.
he just didn't go with Sawyer or Ford, his real name.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I
Oh,
guess that, I guess
but
that's the
even
thing.
Miles is using another name.
Is
What does
he?
he call him? He calls him I forgot. But when Miles jumps in the truck, Sawyer calls him something else.
Oh,
And I'm like,
interesting.
huh.
Hmm.
I don't know. They kept their
Hmm.
first names but changed the last names. This will throw them off the scent if
Yeah.
they don't even know to look on at. So, it was cool though. I like the situation they were put in. You know,
Hmm.
they instantly like Sawyer. He gave the others a chance, and they drew. So defended himself, and he killed them. But that put them in the situation. You know, like
Yeah.
oh man. But then like Richard shows up, and he has to go talk to him. That was pretty clever, and I liked that. And again, he's using what he knows. He's like, oh yeah. these guys were just at the camp. He met John Locke, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had seen more of that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see like how Richard's reacting. Like, how's he taking this? Like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
So all he knows. So for what we saw, Sawyer says, "Hey, I'm here waiting for John Locke to return." It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
jeez. So how I want to know like how much he told Richard.
Yeah.
You know, does he know they're from the future, or does he know that they're the ones who went to the camp with Locke? All that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I it, it's strange too because I feel like that's such a big moment of the episode, and I guess that's not necessarily where like the climax is,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like that's where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I don't know, like just the fact that like that conversation is there and it is big, it feels like a big moment. It also feels kind of small in retrospect because it's like what do we really know now,
Yeah.
I guess like they know like, oh, okay, Richard's here,
Mm-hmm.
and now James has gone out and, said all this stuff. And so it's like, oh, okay. So James has figured out, or I'm sorry, Richard has figured out that, this sect of people don't belong, all this stuff. But yeah, like, I don't know, like I don't, I feel like there's not much more to that conversation that doesn't involve just like, well, your people killed my people, so how are we going to fix that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's definitely that feels like where it ends,
Yeah.
you know
See, and like that's what has me curious because like they've been there for 3 years. Like you would think, okay, if this settles the score, okay, they get what's his name, Paul's body or whatever.
hmm
You would think that it's like, who are these people living with Dharma now? I
hmm
want, from Richard's perspective, I want to know more about them. You
yeah.
know, so I'm kind of curious about that. Like, hey, can we talk? You know, can we have more interaction? Like we, Dharma and others don't really want to interact, but they, I would be really interested to hear from Lafleur and his party.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Pretty sure Faraday saw Baby Charlotte.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's messed up,
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
man.
And he's like cracked. He's lost it.
Yeah, I do like that at the beginning of the episode they remind us about how he described time as like a record skipping,
Mm-hmm.
and how this time that's his kind of like big revelation is like the record isn't skipping anymore. We're just not on the song we want to be on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, like there's something so like simple and it's so like tragic about that,
Yeah.
you know? It's just like, man,
I and
yeah.
I like that. I love the talk. Like the climax of the episode is when Juliet tells Sawyer that she's leaving. You know, she spent 3 years trying to get off the island, and she finally has her chance. And he's telling
hmm
her, he's like, whatever you think you're going back to, it doesn't exist yet. You
hmm
know, it's not there. And I was like, oh man, that's
hmm
true. Like, what do you
Yeah, like
do?
yeah, like that's my thing. Like knowing that this is what like the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
or something, like late 60s, it's like I don't I wouldn't like, yeah, like what am I leaving for?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out there. I don't have a social security number. I have nothing to my name. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm nothing, you know. At least while on the island, I can try and help out, find my crew, find the rest of our people,
Yeah.
you know. And hopefully Rose and Bernard didn't get stuck in a cave or something.
Right? Yeah, it's interesting. Where the hell are Rose and Bernard? It's been three
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Yeah, which is crazy. So it's like this group of survivors have been together for 3 years,
Yeah.
living within Dharma. Where's everybody else? Where's
It,
Vincent?
who's left? Yeah,
Is
Vincent.
Vincent even alive anymore?
Uh,
Scared,
hopefully he
man.
was a young dog.
Mm-hmm.
And we had been talking about it slowly, like Juliet and Sawyer growing closer, just like having each other's back this whole season. Sure enough, it pays off. He
Mm-hmm.
convinces her to give him 2 weeks, two
Mm-hmm.
weeks, and turns it to 3 years, and they're living the cozy house life. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man. And I love the scene with Horace where he's telling Horace basically about Kate, and he's like, now I can't even remember what she looks like. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the episode, Kate's back. It's like, oh no. That seems like a very island thing to do?
Yeah, it's a very island thing. It's a very lost thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm down for like a good like love triangle.
Yeah.
The push and the pull, the tension, the will they, won't they. But honestly, at this point, I just feel so over, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that I know like I just know that it's gonna come into play for like a couple episodes and then it's not gonna get brought up again until probably next season where it's like, oh, it's brought up again and it just feels weird and it's like, I don't need it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing too. Like, where's Sawyer's head gonna be at through all this? You
Yeah.
know? Because he seems to be loving his life and living with Juliet and happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but he was clearly taken when he saw Kate back, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man.
I mean, sure, when he saw Kate, but I mean, he took his glasses off when he saw Hurley.
He was looking at Hurley the whole time.
He sees Jack and he's like, yeah. And then
Mm-hmm.
Hurley like fully comes into view and he fully takes his glasses off and has his like, moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Kate shows up. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it's a thing where he's like, oh, yeah, that's what she looks like.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, yeah,
How do you sell this to Dharma? Like, hey, it's been 3 years. We're gonna keep looking for the rest of our crew.
yeah.
Like, it's got to be like we're gonna look for their bodies at this point. Like, you think they were on this island,
Hmm.
and like I don't know, maybe the others killed them. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Jin is going like grid point by grid point, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. And yeah, like I don't know. I like maybe at this point I feel like like the cover story is just kind of like, yeah, okay, you guys
Yeah.
have your reasons, or it's like, hey, like this is a cushy deal anyway. Like
Yeah, I'm
I
curious
get how
why Miles has stayed.
yeah.
I figured he would have been gone.
I think it's the tag team. It's the Sawyer Juliet team, you know. I think
He stuck with
cuz
them.
yeah, he stuck with them. Because I feel like that's what that scene means, towards the beginning where they're all arguing about like going to the beach and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and Juliet's just like, no, Sawyer's right. We're gonna go to the beach. And
Mm-hmm.
then later on, she's like, yeah, no, that's a stupid plan, but it's
Mm-hmm.
better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, like I feel like that's kind of the same sentiment. Like staying on the island is a stupid idea,
Yeah.
but it's kind of better than whatever else is out there.
Yeah. So like the way she said it, she's like, it's a stupid plan, but it's better than no plan. And if I hadn't backed you, we would still be back there deciding what to do. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and that's it. That sums it up.
yeah.
So
and
yeah.
and there's enough time for us to change our mind before we get there
Yeah.
or
So this
come up with
brings
a
up
new plan.
something interesting because we've already talked about there's a 48-hour gap that we haven't seen for the Oceanic 6. So I'm assuming like our backstories for the Oceanic 6 or our flashbacks for Oceanic 6 is going to be those 48 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now I'm wondering, are we going to get flashbacks for the Dharma crew now? What they've
Mm,
been up to for the last 3 years?
man, yeah,
Possibly.
maybe, yeah, because like it feels too easy to just say like, and they've been here, just living,
Chilling.
yeah, chilling, having sandwiches and milk in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that just sounds
Blowing
like a
up
bad,
trees.
yeah, blowing up trees. That just sounds like a bad combo. Like people drink milk with meals?
Yeah, that's it's very old school. Very
Man.
It's a Wonderful Life. I remember that. I used to do
Oh
that
yeah.
when I was in New York City at 1, 2 in the morning. We'd go to a diner and ordered a cheeseburger, and I'd get it with a glass of milk.
Really?
Yeah. Why? Because I thought it was good for me, and even though I was already 18, my bones should still be growing until my early 20s. I don't know how true that is anymore. So many
Yeah, I don't
people
know
have
about
just stopped
that.
drinking milk and stopped giving their kids milk. So, like, no one straight up says, hey, milk is useless, but no one is also saying, like, oh no, it's still very good for your growth.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just like, what's it gonna hurt, you know?
Yeah. Hey, I have if I get a fancy coffee or something, I get milk in my coffee. I
There you
have
go.
I have milk in my cereal.
There you go.
If I make a PB&J, I'll have milk.
Ooh, that does
But
sound
like
good.
with a burger, with
Yeah.
like a
Well, okay.
sandwich, like
I drink
I
the milk
can't do that.
first.
Then what's the point?
I just drink it while I'm waiting for my food, and it's done. Because I
Wow.
feel like, okay, I drank it. That was good. I did good for my body. Now I'm gonna eat this cheeseburger. Balance it out.
Now I
But
can sin.
I'm very much a presentation and a journey type of person. So I don't want to go on the journey of flavors of a cheeseburger and then it just be like, ugh, milk? Really?
Yeah.
Swallow it. Okay, another bite of the cheeseburger. No, 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 no. So you get it
Yeah.
out of the way, you
Well,
know?
that's how I feel like people are eating it. Like that's how normal people eat their food.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah.
They should be not weird like me. I'll just drink
Yeah.
all the milk before and then once the food gets there, I'll eat that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Stop being weird, people.
Oh, yeah, stop
Yeah.
being weird. Stop drinking milk with your food.
What else is like that? Like,
Sorry.
I don't know. There's just, certain things or certain foods where like, man, I can't eat that. Oh, well, here's a big one. And I know I'll get a lot of flack for this, but I don't like cooked vegetables. I
Mm.
think it just takes away so much of the flavor. Like
Oh, interesting.
steamed broccoli, cooked carrots, nuh-uh.
Huh.
Give it to me raw and like, oh, you could quote me on that.
Title of
And
the episode.
give it to me raw. And I like that because I do like broccoli and I do like carrots, and I'll eat that with for a meal anytime. But you cook it,
Huh.
I'm like, you can cook yourself, cook your way into hell, my friend. If you're gonna like potatoes, I'll do it mashed. I'm not a fan of like baked potatoes. It's just,
Mm.
and you know that too. Like certain fries, I'm like, it's too potatoey, man. It's not
Yeah,
fried enough.
that's true. That's true. I have noticed that.
Yeah, but to me, it's
Okay.
like steamed broccoli isn't bad. Cooked carrots isn't bad. It's just
Mm.
the flavor and the texture. It kind of just it's of a lower quality of the meal I'm eating. So why would I combine it? You
Hmm.
know, if
That's
so,
fascinating.
if you have a gun to my head and I have to eat like cooked veggies, I'll just eat that first, and then I'll move on to the main course. Maybe I'm prissy. I don't know. I like the journey of flavor, the experience, you know?
Huh.
The
Okay.
each meal is like the fellowship, just traveling over your tongue. Na, 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 you know? Yeah. It's an adventure.
Sure.
And I want to
Okay.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like
Okay.
the goods, the bads is the Helm's Deep and the Mines of Moria and all
Hmm.
sorry, and all that stuff. But then to throw in like a steamed veggie in there is like the Hobbit prequels. You're like, wait a second. Not only was this not in the book, but this just doesn't flow with the rest of the story. What are we doing here? So
Here's a you're using the Nazgul theme to be this dramatic moment about the dwarven king. Like that
yeah.
doesn't make sense. It's the
No.
Nazgul theme.
Steamed veggies is the
Uh,
Hobbit films of food.
wow.
Hmm.
Huh. Okay. Got some real hot takes in Lost Legacies
Yeah,
today.
this is our continuation of the Let's Eat Matt podcast.
Secret episode.
Talking
Wow.
all about food this time.
Man,
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
man, that
that
was all my
actually.
notes, actually.
I got a big one.
Okay.
They saw the back of the statue.
Oh, that was a cool, like 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What is it?
I don't know,
We
man.
still don't know.
I don't know.
It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like it felt Egyptian.
Yeah. Which is
Like
interesting because that guy Paul had like that Egyptian I don't know what it's called.
Ankh. It's called
Yeah,
an
yeah.
Ankh. Yeah. And I believe it symbolizes resurrection.
Oh, what are they doing with Paul's body?
That's exactly what I'm curious about. Yeah.
They're feeding it to the island.
Yeah. They're feeding it to the smoke monster.
Yes. Charge. Grow. Grow. Human
Feed.
bodies is like milk to the smoke monster.
Feed. This is the habit of foods.
We don't know if it helps you grow or not, but what did it hurt?
But we also don't want to say that it's not doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna compare everything to food now.
Wow. Hey, there are worse things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It was a fairly solid, straightforward episode, and I really like that.
I really appreciated that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I dug it. And especially like after, I didn't hate last week's. It was definitely a thing like by the end, I was like, oh yeah, this is one of the best Lost episodes.
Yeah.
Um, this one I'm like, yeah, this was solid. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously we're probably gonna find out more about Amy and her baby
Yeah.
and Horace and the two other like security camera Dharma guys. Like I'm sure we're gonna find out more about these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the island crew has been up to, but yeah, man, like I don't know, like I just really appreciated it. This felt like a perfect uh this is a perfect Lost episode.
Yeah, like there's really nothing to complain about
Yeah.
or critique. Like it was solid all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Um
fantastic acting like from everybody,
mhm.
getting little sprinkles of like, ooh, what's going on? What are they doing with Paul's, like all these questions,
Mhm.
and then yeah, it was just kind of like a killer end of the episode, It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is great.
Yeah. Okay, so we pretty much talked about everything there is to talk about in this episode. I don't know what else and I'm not just saying that because it's super hot in here. But
Right, right.
so what I want to talk about, Sam,
Hmm.
what jobs would we have with Dharma?
Oh, geez.
I doubt they would just be like, okay, two more security guards,
Yeah, it's kind of a
someone's
lot.
security.
Yeah.
I mentioned this on the podcast a long, long time ago. And it's about like I think it was something to do like what's something you've always wanted to try but never
Hmm.
have. And mine was baking. Like
Hey,
I think that'd be cool. Like I'll be the local island baker. I'll be the
yeah,
Dharma baker.
there you
Someone's got to
go.
make the food, right?
Yeah.
Either that, or I even thought like a school teacher,
Mm,
because but like a cool school teacher. I don't know what they're
yeah.
studying. It's Dharma, so I imagine they have some like really funky subjects.
Yeah.
Um, and there's tons of kids just running around there.
Submarine
Or
maintenance.
some, nah, I'm good.
Oh,
Is that yours?
that's right, because you don't like the water.
Well, I'll be inside, but it's just too claustrophobic. Or I'll
Yeah.
offer night classes for the adults at Dharma. We're gonna get you your associate's degree in 2 years
There you
at
go.
Dharma Night School. Underwater basket weaving during the day.
There you go.
Uh, with some like really hippie sounding classes.
Like, I don't know. It feels like animal care would be one.
That seems like very specific. Like this is what I'm
Yeah.
gonna go into.
Druidic animal handling.
Oh shit, I
getting
like
in
that.
getting in touch with your inner animal via helping other wildlife.
Reading your soul with the stars.
Yeah,
Instead
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
astronomy, it's like, what do the stars have to say about us?
Yeah, yeah,
I do
yeah.
something like that. I'm like, okay, okay. Something with crystals, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, you know there's a part of Dharma that they're not showing on the show because it was an ABC show, but you know there's a hatch somewhere that's where they do all the LSD testing.
Oh,
You
100%.
know, you have people just like minds are being blown constantly. Like that that's probably what they meant with by saying Horace was loaded. You know, he wasn't
Yeah,
drunk. He was on LSD blowing up trees last night.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's just like Beyond the Black Rainbow, man. One of the trippiest movies I've ever seen.
Whoa, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if I liked it.
yeah.
I liked the experience of it.
See, like that, like that's how I feel about that guy, Panos Cosmatos.
Yeah.
I think I love the aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
and like the themes that he's going for in his
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I just think that on the whole, like I don't, I'm one of the people that I saw Mandy and I thought like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Okay. But everybody
It's
else, I talked to, they're like, they were losing their minds. They're like, oh
yeah.
my God, it's so crazy. I was like, I feel like I don't want to like, and I hate using this. I hate using this term. I don't want to yuck anyone's yums, but I feel
Wow.
like
Wow.
I
I've never
know,
heard of that before.
I know you've never heard of that.
No, I like it
Oh
though.
no, I hate it. It just sounds so weird, but that's the only thing I can. It's the only way I can describe. Okay, look,
Well, I
I
don't want
don't.
to yak on anyone's yams, but
I think that's also one too. Uh, look, I don't want to ruin anyone's party. I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. All right,
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand. It's just
Yeah.
like I thought it was fine. I thought it was a fine
Yeah.
movie. I thought it looked cool as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was kind of it. And he even had a segment, he had a short film in Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one, and it was kind of the same thing. Like I was really digging the aesthetic, I
Mm-hmm.
was really digging the vibe. And I think on the whole, I was like, I think I'm really interested in what like you're doing with this one and what you're saying. But then it just kind of like putters around until it
Yeah.
just ends. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I
I
don't
thought we were getting somewhere, but then it just ended. And I was like,
yeah,
oh,
I don't want to say, look, I don't want to shit on anyone's umbrella, but
jeez.
I don't think he's style over substance, although that is partially true. I do think there's a certain quality to his work, but I don't think it's as deep and complicated as everyone's pretending it to be,
Yeah.
which is what you go into expecting. You know,
Yeah.
like he definitely takes you for a ride on his films. I don't know if that ride's any good,
Mhm.
but it was a ride, you know?
Yeah.
And like Beyond the Black Rainbow, don't ask me to talk about it because again, it's either going to be a long conversation about like not really understanding what it was about or a very short, like 2 sentence conversation and just be like, no, this was exactly what it was about.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's not that complicated, but you can. It's one of those. It feels like one of those art school debates. Like the right person could strongly debate for this film. You know, and you're like, oh,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we met a few of those people this past weekend at a film
Yeah.
festival. So
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, not that it's bad. It's just his films. You know, it is what it is, and it's not for
Mhm.
everyone. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like people really loved, Mandy,
mhm.
and I'm like, hey, like, good for you guys.
Honestly, it's the same. I kind of hold it in the same regard as a like Fight Club or American Psycho. It's like most people love those films for the wrong reasons. Like
Right.
they're not really understanding what the story's actually about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except I happen to like Fight Club more than you know Beyond the Black Rainbow. So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know,
yeah. I was
because
like
I
more
actually
than
understand. I
yeah,
understand what it's actually about, and that's what makes me love it.
yeah, yeah.
Understanding what Starship Troopers is actually about. That's why I love it. The
Uh
action and the
huh.
shooting bugs is fun, but
Yeah.
it's the satire part of it where it's like,
Hmm.
oh man, this is
Yeah.
really. We had a whole conversation a couple months ago. I'm like, I think that's not my top 10, but it's in the top 20 for sure. Favorite films,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not because of fascism.
It's because it's a condemnation of fascism, Matt.
Yeah,
That's what it's about.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was episode 8. We are now officially halfway through season 5.
Whoa.
How are we feeling about season 5? Now it's been a
Honestly,
while. It's taken us a whole year to watch 8 episodes.
that's true. That's true. That's true. But honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I
You
think
know?
this is probably the best paced season of Lost so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were
I
some
think
ups
that
and downs that we talked about, like episode 4 or 5, something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like if you look at these 8 episodes as a whole, like especially now, okay, now we're caught up. Episode 8,
Mhm.
Oceanic 6 is back. We found out what happened to the island survivors. We found out Locke's story. Now it's like, okay, now it feels like now we're actually quote unquote modern. We're in the present, moving forward.
Mhm. It's
So
like
it,
now we're officially back.
yeah, and I think this was a lot better in comparison to season 3, where like the first 5 episodes were almost like a mini series.
Yeah.
Jack,
Yeah,
Kate, and
yeah.
Sawyer on the other island, but we still got to see the other characters. It was just kind of like a mini story to kick off the main story.
Yeah.
Season 5 really feels like uh 2 stories. It's about getting everyone back together and then everyone's back together. Even
Mhm.
though if they're not physically in the same space, like everyone's back on the island now at some time, at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. If this was a modern show, it would have been that would have been one season to itself. They would have made it 10 episodes, and they're like, yeah,
You think so?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I I don't know. I disagree. Honestly, I feel like they would have just lumped everything together and tried to do, you
Interesting.
know, yeah. Yeah, cuz that's the thing. It's like I think the style of storytelling has changed, but it's not changing like how much story we're packing into an episode. It's just it's just changing in how long we're staying in a certain spot,
Yeah.
you know. um I think I think Sabrina the teenage or no, what is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. I think that's kind of a perfect way to sort of look at how television has changed, because like for all intents and purposes, like that's kind of like the new Buffy or the
Hmm.
new Charmed, and whereas those shows were very like episodic, it's a monster of the week. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina ha- is more of like one season long story, but still has these problems, these monster of the week problems in the
Mm.
episode. So it's
Hmm.
just that like, oh, season 1 Sabrina didn't sign her name in the Devil's Black Book. Well, guess what? Every episode is going to deal with a new thing because Sabrina didn't sign,
Hmm.
and it's all these things, but we're still getting season long arcs for
Yeah.
everyone else,
Yeah.
so it's not just like, oh hey, like we're just dealing with this now, and then in the next episode we get a little bit of this but more character growth, like, it's like no, it's the same amount of story but in less episode time.
You know what, Sam? I've never watched this show, right?
Sure.
But you know what show, just talking about this, really makes me want to go back and watch?
What?
Lost Girl.
Dude, that has been popping up. I saw a video essay about uh I don't I we try I don't know. I feel like I should censor myself just because of the word, but
Uh-oh.
it was a video essay about the history of uh monster
Oh, okay.
uh by video essayist Princess Weeks. She's great. Go check her out. Um but yeah, like, and even she said that like this video essay was supposed to be a lot sexier,
Mm-hmm.
but it turned into not being super sexy. It's just more fascinating where the idea of this comes from, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just modern. Like this has been around for ever. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's
Mm-hmm.
whole like there are whole mythological stories about humans being intimate with otherworldly creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they're a monster is all in how they're classified, personified, what the
Yeah.
story is trying to say. Like it's all those things. And there was a lot of footage of Lost Girl in that. And I was like, man, Lost
Yeah.
Girl. Like I kind of miss that show. I never finished it, but I'm like, man,
Yeah.
like I kind of want to go back and watch it.
I never finished the last season. Listeners, if you're wondering what Lost Girl was, this was it was a Canadian series.
Hmm.
Uh I don't remember the showrunner's name. But she event after Lost Girl, she went to create Killjoys, the sci-fi show. Um Looking it up right now. 2010 through 2016. Essentially it revolves around this woman named, I believe her name was Bo,
Hmm.
and she finds out she's a succubus. And as if you know mythology, succubuses, they need sex. They need the energy to live. It was a very sexual show as far as you could get away with on Canadian TV, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know if it ever made it to like the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it was
It
on
did,
Sci-Fi.
okay, because I was like, how did I find this thing? But like that was back when we were like torrenting stuff because for a while there I couldn't find it. So
Yeah.
I would have to download the episodes. But so it was like a 2010s version of Buffy. Lots of fantasy, very low budget,
Hmm.
some really, really bad effects, some
Yeah.
really cheesy acting, but it was still good and it was totally like it took itself seriously enough, but also it never forgot what it was. Like, hey, this is a fun fantasy show.
You know what it kind of it was sort of like the perfect amalgamation of Buffy and Supernatural. It had the
Hmm.
cheesiness of like a late 90s early 2000s paranormal, you know, monster of
Yeah.
the week show, but with the like grandiose mythology that Supernatural ended up veering into,
Right.
but
Yeah.
almost right out of the gate. It
Yeah, that's
was
how it
like
starts.
it's like there's so much lore, there's so much like context that just kind
Hmm.
of gets thrown out at you,
Hmm.
but still boiled down into this sort of procedural, not cop, but like investigative show. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like it was so interesting, and honestly, it's just kind of fun. You know,
It
it's
was
really fun.
definitely it was like a paranormal cop kind of show because it's Bo, she's succubus, but also like kind of an investigator. She's like a kind of vigilante in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like not by choice. She kind of ends up in it. But there is you do follow two cops who one's
Hmm.
a werewolf and then the other one's like, I don't know, some kind of fae. I'm like,
Oh, that's
okay,
right. That's right.
this is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. So you're dealing with a lot of like the fae world and the real world.
Hmm.
Um I forgot the character's name. Like, especially for the time, one of the best like lesbian representations I can think in that show with the doctor
Hmm.
and Bo succubus. So she's bi. So like the relationships were just all over, and so it was really cool just to see something that's so sex positive on the Sci-Fi Network. You know, not saying that Sci-Fi isn't, but that's just not really something you saw a lot of at that time on the Sci-Fi
Yeah,
Network.
yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
Battlestar Galactica had already finished, but like pretty much everyone's straight in that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and it also featured Ksenia Solo as Kenzie, who is probably to this day the most beautiful sidekick I've ever seen. I still have a crush on her. This kind of like goth punk girl who just ends up, and she's like the only human one in the cast.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, man, such a good show. I recommend go check it out. It is, you got to keep in mind 2010, so it is a little cheesy. Feels very much like Buffy, like,
Hmm.
oh, we got to go into hell. So it's like, oh,
It's like a smoky forest,
well,
or
no, like
something.
even like sure, like there was a lot of that, but like, uh, oh, hell's actually like a corporation. It's like, how
Oh,
do we
right,
tell this?
right.
Like, oh, everyone's wearing nice suits and stuff. You're like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, budget constraints. I get it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, man, it's such a fun show. Each season's like 20 plus episodes, so it really feels like
Hey,
one of like kind of like Buffy was. It really
yeah.
was maybe one of the last shows of that kind. I think the only kind of quote unquote modern thing you can compare it to is a Wyona Earp, because I know Wyona
Mm,
Earp. I don't know how long the seasons were, but that has a crazy fandom. Like they love it.
yeah.
Wyona Earp
Huge
has its own
following.
conventions.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, yeah, I want to see what else the showrunner has done. Actually, Michelle Lovretta, Lost Girl, Secret Circle. I don't know what that is. Then Killjoy. She did all Killjoys. Oh, and she's one of the top producers on Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. She's done a lot of the teleplays.
She wrote several episodes of Relic Hunter. Remember that show?
Oh man, yeah.
Mutant X.
Wow.
Man,
This makes so much more sense now that you see it. You're like, "Oh yeah,
yeah.
this has always been the vibe."
Wow. Okay. Where can I find this? Like stream it or
You
buy
know where
it?
you could probably watch it?
Huh?
Tubi.
Everything's on Tubi. Oh, you can
Matt,
watch it on the CW app.
Matt, who has that? Does it
Not
even work?
me.
Look, earlier today, I was waiting for AC maintenance to come.
Hmm.
Sam Lord just dropped.
Oh
Um,
no.
no, I was waiting for the AC maintenance guy to show up, and so I was looking through Letterboxd, and I was like, oh yeah, there was a movie that kind of piqued my interest. Let me go see where I can go watch it. Sure enough, it's on Tubi. So I go to Tubi, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is fine, like it's good. It's good enough. But I really liked the way it looked and the way it was directed. And I was like, something about this feels really playful and really fun. Who made this movie? Matt, I was watching a movie from the showrunner of Vagrant Queen.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then as soon as the movie was over, I was like, is Vagrant Queen on Tubi? And sure enough, Vagrant Queen is on Tubi.
Nice.
All
Does
10 glorious
does
episodes.
Tubi have commercials?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it has commercials. Uh Honestly, I think it's like no longer than like a minute or like a minute and a
Oh,
half.
okay. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
So it's like they say that like, oh, you have like 5 ads coming up, but each of those ads are no longer than like 30 to 15 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And it just varies. So like I think right out the gate, your first one you'll get like 5, the next one you'll get like 3. I got one ad somewhere in there. And yeah, it's like it's a weird system, but yeah, like I don't know, it works. And it's totally free.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally free. Like the only downside is that if you want to um I think if you want to like continue watching after you've left the app,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have to like sign up for it.
Oh, okay.
But even then, I don't think signing up is I don't think it costs any money. I think you can just sign up for free. or maybe it's one of those things. It's like it's free, and then if you sign up, it's also free, but there are options
Mm-hmm.
to do stuff, and that's probably like a paid premium. But yeah, if you're just going, you're just like, hey, I got some time to kill, you know, go to Tubi and you go, pick any one of their movies. They also just have like a billion movies there. And I'm like, oh, cool. You can watch Goodfellas uncensored, but with built-in commercials.
Oh God, what country is it? Is it Turkey where they they don't air commercials? So and I don't know if this is like current day or what, but like they'll edit commercials into the films. Have you seen that?
Well, so they did that. I want to say they did that in Mexico
Hmm.
with the original Star Wars.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking.
Because it was because A New Hope, like I mean, Star Wars, was a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
When they finally were able to air it on TV, they didn't want to lose viewership to commercials, so
Hmm.
they built in like commercials to the thing. So like when Obi-Wan goes to like open a chest to pull out the lightsaber, he opens the chest and it cuts to some guy in like an Obi-Wan robe. But you just see his hand opening up into a into the freezer, pulling out an ice cold cerveza cristal.
Mm-hmm.
And the song
Mm-hmm.
even plays Cerveza Cristal. And then it immediately just keeps going into the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he didn't pull out a Cerveza Cristal. He pulled out the lightsaber. But, and they do it like throughout the movie. I'm like, this is incredible.
I love
I
it.
I want that. I want to do
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
like just like I want this in my movie.
Well, unfortunately, man, I'm having trouble finding Lost Girl on Blu-ray. You can find like the last season, but
Mm,
oh,
damn.
seasons 5 and 6 on Blu-ray, only $20 from Target. Good luck
Hey,
finding seasons 1 through 4.
yeah. We just got to look on Canadian sites and we got to get a VPN for that.
Yep, I have a VPN. Time to turn it
Mm,
on.
there you go. Boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. Um, well,
Mm.
man,
So much for this being a short episode.
I know this is this is fun though.
Yeah.
You got any predictions for?
Well, so I thought that the baby was Ben, but that's not right.
Oh, it's true.
So now
Yeah.
my only other prediction is the baby is Aaron or the baby's Locke.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's not this is very much a show that's like that this isn't a one-off baby.
Mm-hmm.
That baby's gonna mean something. When babies are mentioned or exist in this show, it usually tends to mean something, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like and I was just being facetious about Aaron. Obviously, it's not Aaron.
Yeah.
This isn't the dark universe that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like it's even money that Amy's baby is actually John Locke,
Okay.
which would make sense because he was in a foster home
Oh,
and
that's true.
never knew his parents and has always, been on
Supposedly,
the
yeah.
outs. Yeah. So
Until his
until he's an
mother and
adult.
father is later. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, no, I feel like that's perfect. And I feel like
Okay.
that would be an interesting thing to have like, man, like this character who just wants to have a destiny, wants to feel important so much. And it feels like at every turn, life just keeps telling him that he's not special.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of have the perfect chosen one origin of you are the son of this like old,
Mm-hmm.
like it being, giving more credit to whatever Dharma is, like this old forgotten organization, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
this ancient organization that was trying to do great things, blah blah blah. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a hippie commune. You're a child of a hippie commune
Yeah.
on an island that happens to be special.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Okay.
my prediction. Yeah.
I'm sure all our answers will be I'm sure all our questions will be answered next week when we
Oh wait,
watch.
we didn't say MVP.
Oh yeah, okay, MVP.
Yeah, that would Sawyer.
Sawyer, yeah, hands down. Like he
Yeah.
was just finally. It's been a while. I think it was like season 3 when we had a Sawyer episode.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Because
man, like when was the last time Josh Holloway got to act like
not
this?
not all of them got one in season 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like it was good to really get to see him like shine again.
Yeah.
Not that he has it, but to get a full episode. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But next week we're talking about Lost season 5, episode 9, Namaste.
Yeah.
Where now that we have the Oceanic 6 and the rest of the survivors together, the question is, what do we do now?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really interesting because they're all going to have different reasons and motivations for being there now, you know?
Mm-hmm. I can already feel the heads butting between Jack and Sawyer, you know.
You're not in charge anymore, Jack.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and you left, Doc.
Yeah. All right, so bringing back our reoccurring segment.
Oh, yeah.
Marry, bang, die fighting beside. So, Sam,
Mm-hmm.
who would you rather? Marry, bang, or die fighting beside?
Mm-hmm.
Jin,
Okay.
Libby,
Mm-hmm.
and Michael.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's kind of tricky.
Hey, yeah, this one is a little tricky.
Also, the nature of the game is a little tricky because it's not
Man.
just marry, bang, kill.
Yeah,
In certain
yeah.
situations, kill makes it easy. In others, it doesn't, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You know, man. Straight up, I'm gonna marry Jin.
Okay.
You know, definitely not season 1 Jin, but you know,
Yeah.
as he's gone on, you know, he's gotten a lot better. You know, he's
Mhm.
grown as a person, you know, and I feel like he really is, you know, somebody who would take care of you. He'd take care of you. These other two I'm having a hard time with. You know?
I'll say
One-
mine.
One, because I'd feel bad if I kill Michael. If I die beside Michael, you know, it's like, well, because he dies, you know, but at the same time, I'd
Yeah.
feel bad if I died with Libby, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, say yours.
I will go with Mary Jin. I think I will bang Libby, die fighting beside Michael. So my thinking here is because all these characters have something good about them that I like. I think, man, see, we just didn't have enough time with Libby.
Yeah.
You know, because
yeah.
kind of like last week when I went with Jack, like Jack is someone who will fight for you if you're on the same side, you know? I feel like the same way for Michael. He was always a stand-up dude. You know, his kind of quote unquote downfall was that he's willing to do anything to save his kid. And that was exploited by the others,
Yeah.
you know? But I mean, I feel like Michael would have your back. Not that Libby wouldn't. See, I think Libby is also a very good choice for this, but we just didn't have a lot of time with her.
Yeah, I agree.
Michael, even after his mistakes, he has come back to try and fix them, you know, and just
Yeah.
do what it takes.
Yeah. All right. I'll say the same. I think that's a good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Mm.
everyone, thank you for joining us for another episode of Lost Legacies. Find us on just hashtag Lost Legacies. We'll see it. You could shoot us an email at lostlegaciespodcast@gmail.com. At the bottom of the description of this podcast, there should be a link that'll allow you to text us. So send us a message.
Yeah.
And also, I'm on Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Reel, that's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
Until next time, get
Get
lost,
lost.
girl.